Hello everyone, this is Orlando from A Collector's Dream. And today I want to talk about Hobby Palooza, which is coming up beginning on Friday. So that's going to be a really incredible event. I'm honored to be elected as the ambassador. So you're going to see my little clip in the beginning of every show. And I'll be appearing twice, once on Saturday, on Sunday, and then at the finale, which will be Sunday night. So what I just want to do is kind of go over some of the stuff that I'm going to talk about and who I'm going to be with. And you could look at the schedule, but I'll go ahead and post on my channel, later on when I'm going to be on, to make sure you guys don't miss it. And of course, remember to donate to Signatures for Soldiers. And it'd be great if you would donate during my live streams, either on Saturday or on Sunday, so we can raise some money there, especially, I like to do it during my live stream, but anytime you want to donate. And I'll go ahead and give a plug to the Penny Sleever, which is going to donate 10% of all of their sales during those 3 days to Signatures for Soldiers. So go ahead and check out their website and buy something from the Penny Sleever. So on Saturday, I'm going to be with one of my favorite YouTubers, and that's Pepino Man. And Pepino Man and I, at 1 o'clock on Saturday, we're going to talk about building sets, and we're going to talk about all of the sets from the 70s. And we're going to kind of talk a little bit about them, show some cards from the sets, and then at the end, we're going to vote for our favorite sets. So it's going to be non-scripted. We don't know. We haven't talked about it. We just kind of said what we're going to do. And I don't know what his favorites are. He doesn't know what my favorites are. But we're going to go ahead and go over them and talk about it. So I just wanted to share some of these sets with you that we're going to be talking about and showing. And give you guys a heads up and see which ones you guys think are going to be the best ones, or what are your favorite sets from the 70s. So I'm just going to share 1 or 2 cards from each set. So got to give you a heads up. And I would like for you guys in the chat, as we decide to also share your favorites. So this is the 1970 set. And I'm not going to talk about it now. I'm going to talk about them later, so I won't tell you anything about whether it's my favorite or what I like or don't like about these. And we'll do that on the live stream. Again, Saturday at 1 o'clock with Caesar. So that's the 70. This is the 1971 set. Those are called the Black Beauties, the black border. This is one of the famous cards from that set. Then you have the 1972 set. You can see that's kind of like an Art Deco type design there. 1972. This is the 1973 set. So we'll share some of these, and I'll share more of these cards during the live stream. And this is one of the main cards from the 73 set, the Mike Schmidt rookie. This is what the 1974 set looks like. And that's got a couple of big rookie cards there, which is the Dave Winfield. And now the newest Hall of Famer, the Dave Parker. So that's the 1974 set. So you guys take a look at these and kind of, let me know. Or, you don't need to let me know now. Let me know during the live stream what you feel are your favorites. This is the 75 set. And again, the 2 biggest cards there are the George Brett and Dylan's favorite card, the Robin Yount. 1975. 1976 set. That's what this one looks like. That's the Nolan Ryan. 1976 set. 1977 set. That's what the 77 sets look like. Show you a couple of different ones because when the All-Stars have the All-Star on there, It's really the regular card of the player, but it tells you if there's if they are an all-star. 1976 set. Try to keep that in the film there. I mean 1977, that's 77. 1978 set. And that's the, got a couple of big rookie cards in there. That's the Eddie Murray, and that's what the rookies look like, the Molitor and Trammell. That's a 1978 set. And then you got the 1979 set. And the big card there is the Ozzie Smith rookie. So that gives you an idea of every set from the 70s. So you can kind of, take a look and decide which one you think is your favorite set. 70, 71. So one more time, 72. 73. That's 73 rookies. 74s. 74s. 75s. 76. 77. 78. And the 79. So that's what Pepino and I are going to talk about on Saturday at 1 o'clock. My next session is going to be going all the way back, basically 100 years before that, almost 100 years before that. And we're going to talk about cards from the 1800s. And that's going to be a great informative session, and that's going to be with Ryan of Breakout Cards. And we're going to talk about the really more non-sport cards, multi-sport and non-sport cards from the 1800s. And we're going to focus on specific sets from that era and just talk a little bit about some of the cards, around that time. So we're going to show, some, a lot of different stuff in there. He's going to focus on his Lone Jack Inventors set, which is one of the rarest sets. And it's got, people like Einstein and things like that. And I'm going to focus on my, my Goodwin Champion set. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk, and I'll show those in a minute. We're also going to talk about some of the other ones, like the Great American set. We're going to talk about the N76. Now, all of these sets from the 1800s are designated by Jefferson Burdick as N. So this is the N76. This is the N162. Of course, you got the old Judge in there. That's the N172. But we're not going to show really mostly that much baseball and stuff. We're going to try to focus a little different this time, just give you an idea of some of the cards that were done in those days, because the majority of the cards from the 1800s were non-sports or multi-sport sets. So we're going to talk about these, the Great Americans. It's the Great Americans, a couple of the Great Americans. He's going to share some of those also. And we're going to talk about the printing process back in the day. And in that, I'm going to share this piece here, which is a proof print sheet of the Great American set from the 1800s, 1888. And this is the a proof sheet of how they were actually printed. So we're going to talk a little bit about the printing process back then, how these things were done, how they were printed. And I'll be sharing this piece here. You can see that. It's like a handwritten thing that was marked up before it went to press. And this is what the cards look like once they did go to press. So this is a printer's proof. So we're going to share with that. I'm going to share that with you guys, along with some other cards. We're also going to share some of the different albums that were done during those days, like this Allen and Ginter album, and you would actually order these from Allen and Ginter with coupons that you would get in the tobacco packs. And these are some of the coupons that you would get, that you would send away to get the different albums. This one is from the Old Judge, the N172s, the Goodwin and Company, where you can get, with this coupon, is how you would get the cabinet cards. And you can see that elegant cabinet photography of any baseball player. So you would get, with 20 of these, you'd get a cabinet card. And with 50, you can get the different albums. And the Champion album, and I'll share the Champion album. That's part of the Goodwin Champion set. So share some of those. And again, they've made cards of these. And the cards were, you know, these are ones of all the different animals. These are incredibly beautiful pieces of art. So I'll share some of those. They also did them of all different subjects. This is another one of the albums that I have. This is from the birds. So you can see all the beautiful, beautiful birds and beautiful artwork that they did back in the 1800s. And all these were done by hand, printed by hand. And we'll talk more about that. So if you're interested in learning more about 1800s and learning about these beautiful, beautiful pieces of art, which they are pieces of art, check out our live stream with Ryan, and that'll be on at 4 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. So to top that off, I'm just going to share some of the Goodwin Champions that I'll be showing. Like I said, mostly it's going to be non-sports or multi-sport, but you know, this is the main card in that set, or the most valuable card, which is the Cap Anson. And I'm just going to highlight some of the big names in there. Of course, you have the first the first football card in that set, first football card ever, and that is the Beecher card. So we'll share that. And back in the day, the biggest sport wasn't really baseball, it was boxing. And the biggest star in those days was John L. Sullivan, who won over 300 fights without being defeated. He was defeated in the last fight that he just came back after retirement. So that's the John L. Sullivan. The other big boxer in there is the Jack Dempsey. And as you can see, these are high grade. These are really the highest, some of the highest graded, if not the highest graded in the Goodwin Champions. So that's the Jack Dempsey. He was the first middleweight champion of the world. And the richest athlete in those days, back in the 1800s, was Isaac Murphy. And we'll talk about Isaac Murphy and his incredible feat. And really what they say is he's the greatest jockey ever. And at one point, I think he won one year 61 out of 65 races. I think that's a stat. But he became the richest athlete of that era, Isaac Murphy. And they still award the Isaac Murphy Award to the best jockey every year. Still today. The top pool player of the day, of the era, was the Oro. And he's still considered one of the top 5 pool players of all time, even though he's all the way back to the 1888 era. The best chess player in the world, and basically wrote the book on chess, is Steinitch. And if you go back and check out his history, Steinitch is, really the guy who, like I said, wrote the book on chess. All of his techniques, all of his things that he shared back in the day are still in effect today. And the top chess players use a lot of his defensive strategies back in those days. The top shooter in those days, Buffalo Bill, and this is the highest graded Buffalo Bill, And just a gorgeous card of him in his, I guess, uniform you would call it. But, you know, he was champion of the Wild West. And he really was, before Barnum and Bailey, he created the Buffalo Bill show that he toured, and with Annie Oakley, he did a lot of shooting events and horse riding and stuff like that. But one of the most important people back in the 1800s, one of the most famous people, the top runner or marathoner, they called them pedestrians back then, but was Roel. And Roel was one of the top marathon runners. And this guy, they would run and walk for miles. I mean, you're talking 200 miles or more, and they would do it nonstop. And I've done a video on him, and we'll talk more about it, but he was one of the guys that would just, you know, bring tons of people to the stadium to watch him run and walk, even though it said pedestrian on there. Again, a beautiful card with a beautiful background. You can see one of him with his award there. The main tennis player in this set is Dwight, and he's considered the founding father of tennis. And the highest graded is a 5. I got the 4.5 here. And Dwight was the one that started tennis here in the United States. And basically they called it lawn tennis, but he was the one that built an actual tennis, lawn tennis court in almost kind of in front of his house, or I remember his house was family's mansion, and played the first tennis tournament in the United States. And he learned tennis in England, and he came here and brought the game here to the United States. So he's considered the father of tennis. And Dwight is an extremely well-known or popular. If you research tennis, you'll find him as the father, the founding father of tennis. And another person that was very popular back then was Emil Voss, who was known as the strongest man in the world. And today they still have the strongman competition. And he basically was one of the ones that started that. And he would literally lift horses up, you know, with a pulley, and he would lift up the horses. He would hold a barbell on his shoulder, and people would hang on. During the Wild West show, people would hang on to both of his barbells, and he would carry them around the stadium. So the strongest man in the world. So these are some of the cards that we're going to share, that I'm going to share during that Saturday at 4 o'clock with Ryan from Breakout Cards. So I just want to make sure you guys go ahead and attend. Go ahead and watch it. Watch both of it. Watch all of the 3-day event. And we're going to share all of these cards and all of these sets. And you guys are going to have a great time. You're really going to enjoy it. So please hang out with us at Hobby Palooza. Again, I'll be on at 1 o'clock on Saturday with Caesar, Pepino Man. And then I'll be on at 4 o'clock on Sunday with Ryan Breakout Cards. And then I'll be on with the finale with the 5 collectors to end the show. And hopefully we raise a lot of money for Signature for Soldiers. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you on Saturday and on Sunday at Hobby Palooza. Please make sure you guys watch them all, because they're all going to be super fun and super informative. Thanks for watching, guys. It's Orlando from A Collector's Dream, and I'll catch you on the next one.